Everyone, I'm going to step back, I guess I won't, from the camera here, and everything might be reversed, so we'll have to think about this and how it comes across on the video, but I want you to listen as much as look at the concept of what is a positive angle and how those things come into rotation. So what is a positive angle along the x-axis in a right-hand coordinate system? What is a positive angle rotated about the y-axis? That being roll, the first one being pitch, and yaw being a positive or negative rotation about the z-axis. Yaw being the thing that we have learned in terms of 2D rotations up till now. Rotating about the z-axis is rotating more or less about the plane, or in a line coming out of the plane that we've always talked about as being the x and y. And so you got to take out your right hand, which of course looks like your left hand when you're looking at a video. So I'm not going to do this, but your right hand, and you point your thumb down the x-axis, over here, down the x-axis, and a positive angle is the way your fingers go in a right-hand coordinate system. That's when you're looking at what we're calling pitch. When we're looking at roll, you put your thumb down the positive y-axis, and a positive roll is the way your fingers go. And if you think about it here, in a positive yaw or about the z-axis, you put your thumb up the z-axis and you spin the way your fingers are. Those are all positive angles. Now you'll see when we start doing rotations, you're going to have to put some checks in your brain to let you know that often you want to put a reverse of the angle you think, and that's the best way I can put it. You're going to put a reverse of the angle you think when you're doing these rotations. And once again, you're going to get very good at developing some answers or some things that we know the answer to, so we can check methods. There's a lot of equations in the world that go the wrong way, whether you use the plus or minus sign. So the best thing you want to do is to develop a general habit here of doing tests on something you can comprehend. All right. So once again, you put your right hand in a right-hand coordinate system. You'll see when you get into survey and engineer or in mapping, you do all this with your left hand, and so you're going to see that a positive angle in a left-hand coordinate system is clockwise, and a positive angle in a right-hand coordinate system is counterclockwise. But you need eventually, when you go into 3, to deal with using your hands and learning what your positive rotations are. Now, the next thing you want to get really good at is figuring out which way is up. And up, when we think about it on the Earth, up is the opposite of down, which is gravity, the opposite of gravity. However, we really want to get thinking about up being a concept that's tied to a coordinate system. And how you figure out up is this. You took your right hand, and again, a right-hand coordinate system or a left-hand coordinate system doesn't make much of a difference here. You put your pointer in one of your, along the x-axis. You put your middle finger, don't use the middle finger, in the y-axis, and the direction of your thumb is then up, a positive z. And eventually, the next time you see me doing this, I will get little thimbles with green, red, and blue, as you see, have become the standard colors for the coordinate systems. And you're going to see, as we start talking about every kid or every 2-year-old being the center of their own planet, but them all being on the same planet, getting aware of putting down your coordinate systems, putting on whether it's a positive, whether it's a right-hand or left-hand coordinate system, is a habit that becomes now much more important with Justin Timberlake's 2D and 3D world. And that football player. So, remember, you have to understand whether you're a right-hand or a left-hand coordinate system. If you want to know whether a rotation is positive or negative, you put your thumb along the axis in the positive direction, and that will help you figure it out. That's important for CAD, it's important for math. All right, the next thing we need to do then, once we get those concepts together, is then learn within at least a Civil 3D class, learn how we go about doing coordinate rotations in a calculator, that calculator being Excel, eventually that calculator being any kind of program. your calculator as well. And it's one of the single best uses, at least that you can first grab onto, of the matrix work and the vector work you're going to be doing in your mathematics class, in the third class of a Tech Math series. So let's grab this now and learn how to do this matrix multiplication in Excel and on your calculator, so when it comes to math, it's smack dab lippity slick. And then we can begin to really, add that to the same set of skills that tells us that y equals x is a line that goes through the origin at a 45-degree angle. Eventually you'll see that y equals x defines actually a plane in 3D, but we'll get to that later. Thanks for listening.